Greetings and salutations, and welcome to a special Friday night hang here on the Ben Coombs YouTube channel. Please like, share, and subscribe. Algorithms out of the way early. We've got Marc and Dave, the gurus from Tone Talk, the whirlwind podcast that is taking over the airwaves one episode at a time. One of my favorite Friday night hangs, and since they're off this week, Malls will come on over here and hang, and we'll answer some questions, tell some tales, and have your favorite cold snack on hand. That's always a bonus, especially watching me. Welcome, Marc. Welcome, Dave.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Good to be here. Appreciate the invite.
So what's going on?
Oh, dialing in Keeley stuff after watching your guys' latest hang there with Andy Timmons and Robert, which was great.
Oh, and, thanks.
I know a few Halos were sold that night because people were tagging me like, bought a Halo, Ben. I'm like, yeah, you should. And
it's great.
This close to getting one myself. Yes.
It's a really good. It's a killer pedal. I mean, just from a delay perspective, just so much, there's a lot of different options it has. It's just, but it really, it's musical. That's what I would say. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Inspirational, I think.
And speaking of Robert Keeley, did you see what he did for me today?
No.
So I posted on Facebook. I bought something on Reverb, and the guy.
Maybe I saw this.
Yeah, and I never, I never got the item, and I kept writing the guy like, "Hey, are you going to send this item out to me, or let me know?" I'm like pretty reasonable when it comes to that stuff, and
sure,
he never wrote me back, and so I had a request, a refund. And then I just posted it on Facebook, like, maybe you guys need to watch out for this, seller, which I'm not going to mention on here. And Robert gets on there and he's like, "Hey, I know this guy. I'll reach out to him and see if I can get you your money back." And he did. And I got my money back within like an hour. And
what was the excuse, though?
It was pretty lame. Let me say it was like, the first one was like, I actually don't run that shop anymore, but let me look into it.
Okay.
Which was like, and then the second one was, I don't have it in stock. So I wrote back and I was like, "Thank you for the refund. Good luck."
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
But yeah, and Robert was super cool about it. But I was like, Robert Keeley going out of his way just to do that. He's a really, really good dude. Really nice guy.
He is, Marc. I've met him several times at various trade shows, much like Dave and I have met several times, but I don't expect Dave to remember because you're shaking 1,000 hands a day,
I don't even remember who I met earlier in the same day.
Exactly. And, and I always make a point. I would swing by, his booth, check out what's new. And I remember, I think it was NAMM 2020. I was, headed to the airport and I was just about to go inside to catch my flight. And I get a message from him. And I didn't even speak to him at the show, but he's like, "Hey, I saw you checking out the Echoes. What did you think?" And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And like, I met him first time years ago, but it's literally, trade show stuff at best. And so I just went, wow, you're a really cool guy, Robert Keeley. So shout out Robert Keeley.
Very, very nice person. And
yes,
I'm glad he's healthy because he was
yes.
Sick. So
I should do some roll call here in the chat. We've got 41 people in here already. Security's holding them back, Marc. They're frisking them for some reason. I don't let them all in. We've got Sean Pierce Johnson, Dwight Bailey, Stephen Douglas in the house, Doug Strong, Keith Campbell, BC Rich 581, Joe Hervey 84, Octopus Ears. You guys will probably recognize a bunch of these names, I'm sure. Hitman Dwight Bailey out of Mississippi, Brad Guitar Miller, Guitar Man 45, Fishbulb, Symmetry. Good to see all you guys in here. My lovely sister Amanda is here. Gear Junkie 35. Terry's 3Gs. Thank you with the links. Links to the Tone Talk channel in case you live under a rock and don't know what we're talking about. Paul Leonard Ewing. Nice. And Jimmy Ray Hawkins is here. Hobo Roadie. Jose Benito Martinez Jr.
Simon Hosford. What's up, Simon?
Big Hoss.
And
Ferd Burfel.
And Amanda too. I see a lot of familiar faces.
Sean Pierce Johnson also.
Yeah, Sean.
Hey, there's Rob at Tesi Switch.
Yeah, Sean, we were talking earlier. I can't wait. Actually, the pedal that I'm looking forward to get, we were talking earlier, was about when I say talking, we were talking over Facebook. You know, just the chat. And we were
No one actually speaks anymore.
I know, right?
Come on.
The Duke of Tone from MXR, that's
Right.
collaboration with Analog Man.
Right.
I'm curious to check one of those out myself.
Yeah, I put my name on order at Sweetwater. They got a list, apparently.
Brother Aaron from Albus Band, Josh Tanberg, nice. Dejo Blue, great to see all you guys in here. Nice to see Jeff P made it. Modern Vintage, yeah. As you can tell, Mark, I'm kind of into pedals, so when I heard that Duke of Tone coming out, I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad that Mike did it, because I've actually been on the list for the King of Tone. Now it's going on 4.5 years.
Well, you're gonna get it.
I never got on that list just for that.
I'm gonna get it eventually. I saw that he had a recent problem where he bought some fake caps or something. He had put it into like 100 boards and he had to take them out.
Well, if you hear that, apparently I've got low-flying aircraft overhead. Great.
Wow, that was
apparently. I live right across from a freeway, and one of the largest air bases in Canada is the flight line is basically parallel to the freeway, so they use that at night on occasion, and that would be C-17 heavy lift aircraft coming nice and low.
That seemed almost like something was possessed out of your room.
So it's always great too. You have a lull in conversation. You got a nice tractor trailer go by, just throw on the Jake brake because there's a great truck stop 2 miles down on the exit. So, yeah, it's always great. Always great. So,
good stuff.
Aaron asked Mark, "Are you ready for our Finns on Sunday?"
Yeah, I'm actually going to the game. So we'll see. No more excuses. That's basically my motto. No more excuses. Dave, you don't follow football, right?
Nope.
Yeah. But no more excuses. Like, Tua has everybody. They've built the team around him. So if he can't deliver, which I think he plays better than he looks. So he actually does deliver. He won the last 9 of games last season, I think, or 8 or 9 games of last season. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My son we have season tickets. So
beautiful.
We go together before he goes off to college. This last year and this year we got season tickets, and then he's heading off to school. So yeah, let's go Finns.
Nice.
You'll have an empty house then.
Yeah, I know, man. We're going to be, well, my daughter Kelly comes home like almost every 3 weeks, so it's not really. Yeah. Well, we will
easing into it. It's like part-time work.
The locks.
That's true.
That's an option.
That's true. She's always welcome to come home. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, we will be empty nesters, man, and that's just mind-boggling to even say.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Operation Dad Band.
Trust me, it's scary. I don't know, but it's just gonna be quiet in the house. That's the part that. But then again, he sits in his room all day anyway. So like he doesn't make a peep really. But I don't know about your son, Dave.
He makes lots of peeps.
Oh, he does.
Yelling, screaming at his video games.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that I hear. That I'll hear him or laughing with his friends or stuff, or yelling at video games.
Yeah.
Some of us are just yelling at our equipment on occasion now until we call Dave.
I've done that.
That's how that works.
And then I have to get mad at it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I will. I always found it how remarkable it is, Dave, that I know you'll mention on your show, you're the guy who answers the emails, but I'm thinking over the years, buddies of mine that own your equipment, and they'll throw out a Facebook post, digging my tone today, and they'll tag you in it, and you'll leave a comment, hey,
Sure.
Great, or somebody would say, yeah, I had a problem before and reached out to you, and a few times, and I see you enter the conversation, just a simple, hey, thanks for the support or whatever. And it's like, great. It's great to see that presence. And we do see it with a handful of companies, I'll say, within the industry, but not enough.
Yeah, not very much.
But then, it could be time management as well. I don't know, but I think you got
I had someone recently that I was trying to troubleshoot a problem with him. And he kind of sent me back a nasty thing. It's like, all you seem to want to do is try to troubleshoot this problem. And I'm like, well, yeah, let's figure out what it is first.
Right.
And then go from there. And he went on, what about, how did he put it? What about your customer experience or something with it? I literally wrote him back, I'm David Friedman. I'm answering your email personally and trying to troubleshoot your amplifier. What the hell are you talking about?
I can't think of a better.
We have the best customer service in the business, so
right.
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I mean, outside of him just like wanting an amp delivered right to his hands in 5 minutes, what else can you do? I mean, that's
we worked it all out. It was fine.
Yeah, but it's so unreasonable. Yeah, I know. Sometimes people get it worked up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. My sister says she's excited to see Steve Fryette open up Dave's 68 Marshall JMP 50 watt. Tell him thanks for making that happen. That'll be Sunday night.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Actually, he wanted it because, not only because we talked about it on the show, but he's basically going to do a biasing tutorial on how to bias amplifiers and all the ins and outs and things about them. So should be knowing Stevie, it will be very in depth and very thorough.
The nice thing is you don't have to do it live on air.
I do not have to do it. I don't even have to be there.
Will he be playing?
I could be there.
Will he play?
I assume.
Okay.
I don't know what he's doing with it. As long as it comes back in one piece, I'm good.
Right. That's all we ask for.
I'm sure it will.
Yes.
Did you say you want to change anything?
He came and got it. He came and got it. I'm like, don't lose it.
I did have a question. I haven't seen him in the chat yet, but he left the question in the chat like yesterday because he was so excited, but I think he couldn't make it live tonight. My good friend, unfucking believable, who's a regular around the YouTube community, asked, he said, Dave, he saw Alex Lifeson playing through a Friedman amp.
He wasn't playing through a Friedman amp. He was playing through. No, if you looked over further, it was his amp. It was his Lurks, or however you say that.
I think he had a combo.
See, now I was wondering because I remember him bring out an amp, and then I thought, well, then again, it could be whatever backline provided. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
But it was good product placement.
It's very good product placement. The Foo Fighters have been very good for product placement for years.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
There was a lot of gear up there, which I always love. It's the one good thing about multi-band live events where there's going to be some interaction and jamming involved, because I always say the back line just looks like Tom Petty's yard sale because there's a little bit of everything up there, just in case whomever wants to play with whomever.
And none of it was modelers.
Right.
That's very true. Also, at least
it was all amps.
Yeah.
It
was a great show. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I watched it all day.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was
while we were working.
It was fun.
Nice.
I wish they did that, more often. Not tribute concerts, but just cool concerts where people could have fun and there's no riots.
And now you got to watch the next one.
Right. That's right. In LA,
27th, I think.
Are you going?
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna watch it.
Could you go if you wanted to?
I was gonna say, as far as you're not going until that phone call happens. We have an issue. Could you stop on by?
Yeah. No, I don't think I'll be going.
I think.
Could I go? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'm sure if you wanted to.
It might be a little difficult. It's it's all for charity and stuff. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's kind of. I don't even want to ask really.
Right. That makes sense.
And I don't know, something about watching it on my monitors and in the comfort of my own place. I don't know. It's fine.
It's great that they're doing it for charity. Yeah, but you're right. Watching it on the big screen or even on your monitors is good.
They're doing a smaller venue too. So.
Are they? I wonder if it's going to be. It's going to be a different
Wembley.
show.
How many people does Wembley hold? I mean, it's just massive, isn't it?
Yeah,
I heard it was about 90,000, but I think they had 75,000 because obviously the back wasn't.
Yeah, okay. The Forum
all depends on where you place the stage, right?
The Forum is like 15,000 or something.
Oh.
So it's a more intimate show.
Yeah. You know, it would be cool if Wolfgang plays the drums this time around instead of playing guitar.
We'll see what happens. It's going to be totally different, though.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the same stuff.
I made a bold prediction regarding Wolfgang in the next LA show on my Sunday night hang last week, but based on lifestyle choices, I don't remember what that prediction was. So I'm hoping one of the group members it was a group hang last week, might chime in and tell me what it was. But I believe I said something about possibly Sammy Hagar involved, since he may be around.
Who knows?
Well, but then I pondered like the whole, based off Wolfgang's age and the timeline of Van Halen, would Wolfgang have had any interactions really with Sammy other than being a child of a band member?
Not really.
But
they don't even know yet,
right?
What they're doing exactly. That's what I've been told. So that's all.
Really?
Yeah.
When's the show? Later this month, right?
Yeah, the 27th.
Yeah. Okay. And it's gonna be the same thing, the same streaming kind of situation, YouTube and Paramount
streaming,
Plus.
and then streaming for free and on the day, and then it goes to Paramount Plus, and then eventually it'll be back on YouTube again.
Right.
Once Paramount Plus can milk it for all it
it's worth.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean,
I think there's still like all those watches, even in Paramount, part of that's going to charity. So.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
It's not for all, just Paramount.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good to hear, at least.
Here's an interesting question. Fishball Bass, does anyone know a cool wah that doesn't have these annoying recessed jacks like a crybaby? I'm trying to plug two different types of power cables into this, and they don't want to fit, and I want to throw it.
Yeah, that happens. Full tone wah.
There we go. Morley wah,
like a regular flat power jack. Morley wah is recessed, but not as bad. Yeah,
you'll pay a lot more for a full tone one.
Put a battery in it. A wah will run on a battery for like a week straight, plugged in.
Yep,
or longer.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
plugged in on. They used almost no current whatsoever, so the battery will last forever.
That's good to know.
Ooh, here's an amplifier question. What are the pros and cons of having a lot of compression and filtering in high gain amps? My Wizards are the most open, fast, immediate, and punchy. Is there a tone feel benefit for sag?
I mean, Wizards don't really have sag.
No.
They're brutal. Almost sometimes maybe to the point of too much. But it is cool. Make good amps. It all depends on the sound you're going after. Are you what are you searching for? What are you doing? I mean, an old Plexi Marshall like super lead specs cranked up has a bunch of compression and some sag to it, and but it has a wonderful crack and just amazing tone. So, what are you shooting for? Are you shooting for a Tweed Deluxe? You're shooting for a Vox AC30, all of which have tons of compression and not so immediate. Actually, a Vox is pretty immediate, but it has compression. It's kind of interesting, but they shrink all the bass out of it. So, it's just the tone you're shooting for, really.
I found like the splons, they tend to be that way as well.
I don't like too much filtering. Too much filtering in an amp, what it does is it kind of sucks the complete life out of it. Yes, it's hard and brutal, but it has no. It's more one dimensional. It's not quite as pleasing to the ear. It's kind of like if you play a guitar amp in an extremely dead room, like really dead, like if everything was carpeted, every surface was carpeted around. And if anyone knows or has done that, you'll know that the amp will sound awful, just entirely awful, no matter what you do.
Yeah,
and the same kind of goes for super live too. It gets really splattery and stuff. So there's a fine line.
That's interesting.
Yeah, that's why I can't play without any reverb. It's just I just grew up with my dad playing through Fender amps my entire life, and if I don't hear some reverb, I gotta have some reverb. It's just
I never use reverb at all.
Yeah, I'm more of a delay guy. I have to use
a little delay for echo. That's it.
Yeah,
but
it's
like ambient reverb, kind of.
But when it's clean, I like reverb.
Yeah,
he was clean. Yeah, Telecaster into a Vibrolux.
Yeah.
Right
down.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. My Fender that I have back there. Oh, look, I even pointed and that worked.
You pointed right. You're getting better.
My brain is like working.
You're like a professional or something.
I can't even find which side of my face is what.
Yeah, that amp sounds great with some reverb on it, and if you're doing a little country stuff or just, good stuff.
Yeah. The classic.
Yeah. You know what pedal I recently got was that has reverb in it was the Univerb by J Rocket.
Oh yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
It's good.
Most everything J Rocket makes is good.
Yeah, the Univibe. Yeah. I know people were
I hope you hear that, Chris, somewhere.
Some people
you can send your payment to me now.
Right.
Chris is a good guy.
There's John Deshane. He's a regular on both of our channels. Good to see you, my friend.
He is.
What's up, John?
He even has a Friedman logo going on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there he goes.
Absolutely.
Gear Junkie 35 says, love reverb. The JHS Hall reverb is friggin' astounding at $65 used. Wow, that's cheap.
Oh, even the JHS, yeah. The other one from J Rocket too is the Boing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool
too. I like it. One knob. More, less.
That's funny.
Love that.
Nice. Frank Quinn says reverb delay are my must-haves. Otherwise, everything feels stiff. I just got the Halo delay. That is a hell of a delay pedal. Yeah, we're mentioning that earlier.
Absolutely.
I'm close to getting... John Deshane, you're selling me yours, right?
I doubt he's giving it up.
He's debating. I'm really guilting it into him. I'll talk to you tomorrow, John. We're doing a Zoom call tomorrow, so maybe just lend it to me. You're only across the continent.
Hey, Modern Vintage said something here. He goes, Dave, can you modify slower amps to be very fast and immediate and tight and have little or no sag? You can. Sometimes it's really just about how much bass is in the circuit, to be honest. I mean, like you mentioned, Diesel, Soldano. Now, Soldano has tons of filtering. Maybe too much, in my opinion. The Diesel is a little more sane with the filtering, but it's very bass heavy and kind of dark. And what did I do to Reza's? Well, Reza's, I just did, actually on his Diesel, I just did a little tweak on the cathode resistor and cap on the very first tube stage. I did do some, on someone else's Diesel, though, did some other things that I think I even liked more in the end. First time I'd ever really took a stab at doing something to one.
Interesting. And yes, I was going to mention Rob at Tesi Switch sells more than just switches, folks, including Keeley pedals. So, because apparently John sold his locally, so I'll be hitting up Rob at Tesi Switch and use my coupon code Canucks and save 15% site-wide. Insert commercial there. There you go, Rob.
Tesi Switch. Rob's a good guy.
Yeah.
I actually need to get a. So I have a build going on. Maybe I can show pictures. It's a bit George Lynchy.
Oh.
Yeah, I kind of always wanted to do it, and I have this guitar neck, so.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Ooh,
Left-hand tiger. Who's painting it?
My buddy Mark Funk from Funk Guitars. Do you guys know him?
I do not.
Yeah, he lives locally.
Nice.
And here's the back.
Cool.
Yeah. So and I've got the neck and everything.
And Rob says that's hot. I agree.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, I might as well just have him put another hole in it and get a
muzzle.
Get a switch for it. Why not?
Yeah.
What's the bodywood made out of?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
I forget. I think I may have said alder. That's what I think I made.
The original one was hard maple.
Maple, yeah.
Right.
I didn't want to go that way. That's super bright.
I've heard the original guitar in person, and let me tell you, it was a brutal sounding guitar. It's like someone was hitting you with a brick.
Wow.
It's just bright and just cutting, like unforgiving.
Really?
Yeah. Worked pretty good though. I mean, I guess the original pickup was a Seymour Duncan distortion. So,
yeah, well, he made it sound good for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would make it sound good. I think when it gets too bright for me, I don't know. I'm just kind of like, I start backing off on the mids or start backing off on the treble, and
I'm okay with it, but then I just end up playing like Mike Campbell fills, and it's stuff like ornery country, as I call it.
Right.
With a little grit on it. So
I
remember one time at band practice, the other guitar player in band said, I know you use a lot of highs, but your tone it's rather shrill, but like shrill, even for you. And realized, my wah was on and cocked all the way forward. And that's why, even though I was playing a telly, I was like, yeah, it is a little thin. And I'm messing with the amp and it's not doing anything. Until, oh.
And which is why I have an LED on my wall.
Smartest thing ever.
You'll see it. Maybe.
That's why you always want a dark stage, folks. Just for the LEDs on your pedals.
Yeah, the only downside of that is then you got to see your guitar neck.
Yeah.
So, and
luminescent inlays.
I was going to say those or the dots. You can put those. I've seen people, just use the glow stuff.
And put a little glow tape on the side of the neck. A lot of pros do that.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, real guitar players generally say, well, why do you need to see those at all?
Yeah.
That was from my employee.
I've tried to cure myself of staring at my left-hand throat at night, but it doesn't happen. You end up... It just happens.
It depends. If you're playing cowboy chords or, some standard power chords or whatever, you can maybe look away, but...
Yeah. As soon as you fret one wrong note, then all of a sudden you're just staring the rest of the night, it seems.
Or any soloing, I mean, you gotta look,
I don't think he looks.
Wow. Yeah, I know some people are,
and he's the one that used to play in the Zappa band and stuff. So he's doing Zappa music all the time. You imagine not looking. Well, first of all, I can't even imagine playing it.
Yeah, Zappa music is crazy.
It's crazy. It's as hard as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
he was so talented, and Dweezil can play it all.
Yeah,
that guy's phenomenal.
Yeah, I saw him live open up for Return to Forever. I think it was Frank Gambale instead of Al Di Meola.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
which was a great show. But I was impressed with Return to Forever, but I think I would have been happier if it was Al Di Meola, to be honest. But Dweezil and his band doing Zappa was like jaw-droppingly amazing. I mean, not that I would ever listen to the music. Like, I really don't listen to that on a daily basis. Like, listening, I've never sat and like drive and listen to like Frank Zappa or something. But to see it live, even not knowing the songs, it was mind-blowing. I was like, wow, this guy. And of course, the musicianship, these guys are crazy. I forget who. Yeah.
There's my good friend Jason at Lambert Drive Studios.
That
Back to work.
That was probably 5-6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. It was way before the pandemic.
It probably, yeah. My employee Jamie was probably not in the band at that time.
Oh,
he was in there when it first started. He was in the band with Dweezil and Vi.
Wow.
So
what was he playing? He was playing guitar. Also? Well,
yeah.
They were doing 3 guitars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of that stuff, there's a lot of ground to cover. John Duchesne with the super chat. Dave, any update on the new pedal board availability?
They're being made right now. Literally fabrication right now. So coming soon.
There we go.
That's literally breaking news right
How long
there.
fabrication takes? That's a good question. But hopefully that would be our sponsor on our other show, Tim. That would be his question. How long?
Fixpedalboards.com.
Nice. Yeah. Check him out, folks. I need to get another pedal board. That's for sure.
Well, if you like pedals, you do.
Well, my idea was I was thinking about getting one of those 8-channel loopers that everyone gets to save their pedals. But I was going to have overdrives on one, phasers on another, choruses on another. And because
sure.
Why not? I've got 2 phasers on the board and 2 choruses right now. So,
yeah.
Phasers before and after, depending on your flavor, pre or post gain. So, yes, I did. Jason says Ben has a pedal obsession. That I do. Yes.
If you look at my closet.
Hey, I sold one this week, but then I got another one yesterday. So that happens.
Oh, there you go. I should just send you a list of pedals that I'm selling and see if you want. One-stop shop.
Yeah.
I have bins and bins of them that I don't know. You got to get rid of some.
I don't have 368, John. I think I'm back to 117. So.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of pedals.
I wouldn't even. I wonder how many I have. I'm a little scared to find out.
Yeah. I probably have about 60. If I had to guess.
I haven't shot a pedal demo in a year.
I think I have more.
Yeah, you have more than 120?
No, more than 60.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty positive I have more than 60. I need to sell them all.
I know Pete Thorne has.
Pete Thorne has more than anyone known to man.
When I was at your place, I couldn't believe it.
I keep joking. I go, dude, you got to start selling some of this, or you're gonna have to just lease more space,
right?
Because you're running out. You're literally overflowing, and he never touches any of them.
Right.
He has his main ones on his pedal board, and maybe a few others that he'll like. If he needs something, he'll pull it in. But
hell, he's even got my signature pedal. I think he may have the last one ever made.
What was this pedal? What was the pedal? I forget the pedal.
Oh, well, it's made by good friend Lawrence Petros over at LPD Pedals, and being Canadian, it's the Nice Drive, eh? And it's kind of like a Class A tube amp in a box. And a bunch of boost.
Yeah. I'm sure it's in his bin somewhere. Not bin.
Very cool.
One of the 40 bins.
Yeah.
So
it was amazing.
He needs to do what RJ Ronquillo does. You demo them, and then you put up a reverb page, and every few months you throw a bunch of pedals up there.
I know.
And he can't seem to do that.
No.
He may need it.
He always would. He always was worried what people would think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well,
That's what
all right.
you do a grace period. Yeah,
He's got a
Yeah.
great,
Yeah.
got a killer
definitely.
collection.
For
I
sure.
mean, eventually, everybody knows you have to get rid of this stuff eventually.
Or you got like Dane over at Zim's Guitars there. Hey, Dane. He was on with us last week. Phil McKnight just brings all the stuff over to Dane so he doesn't have to sell it, say, himself. And he'll just...
Oh, look at that. He just offered to buy all the pedals from my store.
He did.
I got to get a list together. And then we'll pass it around.
Right.
Wow.
There we go.
I got some good ones. I got some vintage ones and newer ones and in-between ones and lots of them.
Let's see here. John Deshane asks, Dave and Mark, any suggestions or comments on a multi-mod pedal like the MD500?
The MD500.
That's a great pedal.
Or the MD200. You know what? As far as I'm concerned, on a multi-mod pedal, I don't think there's anything better than that pedal. I really don't, because the cool thing that Boss did with that pedal is they really captured the analog vibe of all their old. They were the king of chorus and things.
Mm-hmm.
They captured the vibe really well of their C1s and C2s, and they captured the vibe of it conceivably does everything, tremolos. They did a great univibe in it that has the right pulse to it. And you just step through each of the little models or whatever they are on the thing, and each one you're just like, oh, that's good. Well, that one's good too. That one's good too. That one's good too. They're all good. So vibrato, all these classic iconic pedals that are very sought after, and they did it well, even compared to a real one. So that one's kind of a complete winner.
Speaking of CE1, did you see the Guitar World article today that they found the serial number 1 of the CE1 and it's going for $1 million?
Yeah.
$1 million.
It's always interesting to see what things can go for, or actually what they actually get for them. Like, not that this will ever happen, but if Eddie Van Halen's Marshall used on all the records went up for sale one day, how much would that bring?
Right.
It would be double-digit millions, I would say.
I would think.
Yeah, 20 million, 50 million, something like that.
It's crazy. It's
Yeah, because you don't know. You could get certain buyers coming out of the woodwork that, like, those crazy level, I have to have it.
Not that it's ever going to happen.
Yeah.
No, but it would be an
astronomical
astronomical number.
Or a variety of things, like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the difference between, I would say, that amp as opposed to, say, if the Frankie went up for sale, the amp can be used. That guitar, how playable it is at this point.
That's still playable.
Yeah, and we're the 5150.
Or the 5150, which has all the holes.
I get the feeling that they wouldn't go. Well, I mean, the original Frankie would probably go for. Actually, they'd all go for a lot.
Yeah, but you're right. The Frankie would go more than the 5150, I think.
Yeah,
but yeah,
Smithsonian. That's where they should go, if anywhere. Modern Vintage with the super chat. Thank you very much. Dave, JJ100 V2 soon. Similar upgrades to the SS V2. System volume. Second
boy. No plans right at this moment.
That was basically
perfection.
That was because Steve wanted to update the amp, right?
No, Steve was. Maybe I said something about it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, Jerry's just happy with it, so I don't think he's really looking for anything else. Anything signature kind of comes and goes, with it has a really hot period and then it'll cool off, eventually. The 20 watts of Jerry's really, 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 really had legs for a lot of years. And they're still doing pretty well. They've slowed down a little recently, but so has many things.
Right. Yeah.
Just going into all this mess that we're in, and the people are a little, hold on, I don't know.
Yeah. I was reading or I saw a video about what Guitar Center recently is doing, Defender, where they had all these guitars on order.
I pushed them back, right?
Yeah, well, they basically said we don't need them.
Yeah.
And so Fender got stuck with, like, I don't know how much inventory, but tons.
On the other hand, no other store is back ordered now. Everybody's orders are getting fulfilled.
Oh, it's not the only company that they did that stuff to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, a lot of big vendors have done that. Maybe not, or push the orders back, or want to take less, or push them back till after the first of the year. So
that's too bad.
We'll see. I mean, so many Guitar Center stores are empty of product anyway. I don't. It's like,
and
they keep opening stores. Why do they keep opening stores?
Yeah,
I literally saw 2 new store openings recently that I got an email about. No, not in California, but why are they opening any more stores? Period.
Right.
It just doesn't seem like a good business model.
No.
Sweetwater has a great business model,
but even they took in investors, and I found that interesting.
Well, yes, but they want to expand more. I mean, at some point you have to,
You think they want to expand ex-US?
That's what people were saying, and I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they might want to expand, to out of the country, just like Thomann will ship you stuff into the country here in Europe. Sometimes at better prices. Shipped.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about. I mean, especially since shipping costs are so astronomical these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, shipping costs have definitely gone up some.
At least that's what I mean. I don't know the facts, but just what I've heard, people say.
But for an amp head, it's about $50 more.
But
the average price on shipping an amp head in this country is about $130.
Right, in this country.
Yeah,
but I was thinking to ship something from Europe to here.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's expensive.
I'd hate to think.
Yeah, I cringe just the idea of shipping. I know a guy who's selling a bunch of amps, and he's like, I hate selling amps because he has to ship them, and shipping amps sucks.
Shipping amps sucks, and most people do not pack them properly at all.
So true.
Not even slightly. Or get way too complicated with the packing. I was taking an amp out the other day. It was very well packed. Okay, we'll give them that. But it literally took almost an hour to unpack it all. My guy that was doing it is just like cursing the whole time in the other room. It's just like, I can't believe he packed it this way. I go, got here in one piece though.
The way I do it is I basically wrap it in bubble wrap.
It's best 2 inches thick, all around, at least, of bubble wrap in every conceivable direction, and put it in a box and make sure
there's no
movement whatsoever in the box, and it will get there every time.
Right.
And you also don't have to plaster the bubble wrap with tape.
True.
Right.
It has to be on there, but you don't literally have to then wrap the whole bubble wrap in tape, because when we're taking it apart, we're getting pissed off.
Yeah, because especially once it's in the box, that bubble wrap isn't going to go anywhere. It's already wrapped around or what have you.
It's not. I mean, you need some obviously to seal it and hold it together, but but 2 inches of bubble wrap, you're good. Yeah, and I get these huge rolls. I mean, it's like $40 for a roll. It's this, bigger than my desk here.
right?
It's not really that much.
There's a question. Alex
Of course, we have
2112.
good packaging stores here.
Do I need to pull the tubes before shipping? I always wondered about that. Should you pull the tubes?
Generally not. Although sometimes they can drop it so hard the tubes will fall out. What I generally do in thinking about that is I'll put some bubble wrap so the tubes can't physically fall. I'll put it in the back of the amp so the tubes can't physically fall out. They can't go anywhere. They're just hitting bubble wrap, no matter how hard they get dropped. A lot of times people packing tubes in a separate box, although you could do this. Sometimes they then put the box haphazardly in the amp and then the tubes get broken anyway. So I often say it's just safer in the amp with the little packing in the back.
Yeah. Good advice.
And then I always put a note if I put packing in the back. Take packing out of back of amp before you turn it on. Because otherwise people turn it on and the bubble wrap melts on the tubes. This has happened.
That's not good.
I could see doing that. Yeah. Sounds like something I would do.
Actually, sometimes I don't put a note. What I do is I stick the bubble wrap kind of halfway out the back panel, so it's dangling out in the air. So when they take it apart, they can't help but see there's bubble wrap.
Right.
All the little
See
things.
A bunch of people in the chat slagging Guitar Center. I've been to one once. I'm not going to disagree. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, I got good deals in the past at Guitar Center, and
you can. I will say they are great at mislabeling their used stock. For instance,
they're great at making big mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah, big mistakes. Yes, or sometimes in your favor, sometimes not.
I mean, I can't say. I mean, Guitar Center is a useful place to a lot of people. It might be their only place to go, and I guess for the size of operations that they have, they do a relatively, decent job. I mean, they bought a lot of stuff from us over the years. So, I'm not going to get too hard on them, but there's a few things that could be improved, let's say.
Yeah.
Are they still a customer?
They're still a customer, sure.
Yeah. Oh, good. Like the diamond rooms or whatever, the platinum rooms.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah.
It always reminded me of like strip clubs, the diamond room, the platinum room. Anyway.
Yeah, we have one like that at Cosmo here in Toronto. That's the closest thing we have to a platinum room in any guitar store in Canada. But you go in there, it's all Tom Andersons and Sirs and the Friedmans and the nice amps. And there's always some 16-year-old that can shred better than anybody. And his dad's filming him. And I'm thinking, who's he taking lessons from, right? How is this kid this good?
Mm-hmm. That's always amazing. Speaking of kids, that Nandy Bushell, who played drums at the concert. Oh, and of course, Shane Hawkins.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That at the end of that, I was just like, I was blown away with that kid.
Yeah, he killed it.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Mars man.
I mean, I had a tear.
That is true, Doug Strong. Cosmo is the only place we're likely to find Friedmans in Canada, I believe, other than independent retailers, which I guess they are, although they're one superstore.
Yeah.
Been there. Reopening this weekend, actually. There you go, folks. Check it out.
Reopening?
What happened?
I think they just remodeled.
Oh.
Post COVID, let's open it up.
It's like a mini Sweetwater.
It is.
I've been
especially
there.
Having been to both the Cosmo Music Fest and the Sweetwater Fest. It is a mini version because you figure Canada were 1/10 the size and the event's 1/10 size. Except Cosmo has better bands performing throughout the day. I'm just going to say they have better bands performing throughout the day. So,
yeah,
first year I went, it was Richie Kotzen playing.
Did that show once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And where's it again?
I saw you there.
Outside of it's outside of, where is it exactly? Outside of
North
Toronto,
End of Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You and Sammy Bowler drove up for the event.
Oh,
yes.
that's right. I remember that.
So I interviewed Sammy at the event there. So
Okay.
because he remembered me from NAMM. He's like, "Hey Ben," I'm like, "Holy crap, you remembered me? Okay, cool. I know you."
Oh, I'm just an asshole then.
What's that?
I'll never forget you now.
No. All good. So, I'm gonna say you meet 1,000 people a day. I get it. So.
Oh my God. I just those days were brutal.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
I mean, just brutal. I literally don't, and the fact that we had a bar didn't really help remembering anyone either.
This is true. Having partaken at the bar at the NAMM show on occasion.
Yeah.
I remember the last one I went to was NAMM 2020, and my buddy Lawrence at LPD Pedals had a little display set up for a day at another booth, and it was very last minute, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to try to get some people to perform in my booth," and I'm like, "Yeah, good luck. NAMM's in a week. Anybody that performs is booked. If you can't get anybody with talent, I'll do it." So short of he's like, "Well, you're in," and I was like, "Great. This will be a bucket list item. Perform at the NAMM show." Oh, crap. I got to perform at the NAMM show. And so I was hanging out in your booth about a half hour before it goes. And Sammy's like, 2/3 of a shot of tequila helps me on occasion with nerves. So I'm like, hit me up. So he did that and went over and I played through his pedals. And then Aaron from Elvis Band was sitting there dialing, twisting pedals. And he does a lot of Marshalls in boxes, which are beautiful stuff.
Cool. That's
we're
cool.
pushing his 87 with a 68. So
it's sad that we won't have those days anymore.
Sean Pierce Johnson, calling NAMM brutal is an understatement.
He knows.
Especially you, because you were going around doing content and stuff a lot of those shows, right, Sean?
Yep.
Yeah,
that has to be super brutal. At least I get to stand in one spot and have a drink at my bar.
Yep.
I have to talk to thousands of people.
It's why I didn't
imagine, after this, like this last year, obviously we didn't go, and but I I'm thinking about our sound room that we had and the bar. I don't think that's ever going to happen ever again, because do you really want to get that many people? And with COVID going around, do you necessarily want to get that many people in that little tiny room all drinking?
Right?
No. No,
I thought about that. And I'm like, going, that just sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah.
I mean, you just had it, Mark, and I just had it a little while ago, and
yeah, I wouldn't want to have it again. No,
and and do you even know how you got it?
No, I mean, it's a guess. It's a guessing game. I mean, I think maybe I got it at the gym, or I went to a show. I went to see a local band, and so it was, but it's all calculations. It's like, okay, how many days before I actually started feeling sick? And
well, who knows?
So it's like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, it just sucked. So I would say
I had it twice, and the last one was brutal. I mean, brutal on me because it was really kind of long and drawn out. It wasn't like over quick. It was long and drawn out. And I gotta say, I still think there's some lingering things going on from it.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not 100%. Today's like literally the first day that I'm like back up out of bed, truthfully. So it was the worst week it was the worst week of the last 20 years for me. So quite honestly, no, I wouldn't want to get back into a room with, but it's tough. But then I'll go to a concert, or I'm going to a freaking football game on Sunday with 70,000 people in a stadium, and then I'm like, so it's hard.
Hope it's a breezy day.
It's hard to live life and just be able to just enjoy it without having to worry about getting sick. But yeah, NAMM, I'm sad that it's not going to be around anymore for the party and getting together with everybody.
That was the thing.
That was the best. I mean, for at least the 5 years that I got to go, or 4 years that I got to go, it was really, really fun.
Yeah, and, I would run into you. We'd catch it was as much a family reunion for the YouTube community, because my channel's not big enough that I'm going to roll in and, meet with Dave and say, hey, can you send me an amp? I'm going to demo it and blah, blah, because I have this kind of market penetration. I was lucky. I was going up to the companies like Moore, say, hey, you want to send me some $20 pedals? And like, sure, perfect. That's what I would do. And then the rest of the time it was hang out and like schmooze for the network as much as possible and do little whatever, make little videos.
And going back to what Sean was doing, doing demos and, playing through rigs and, video.
Yeah, he does the same thing I did, but much better. Way better.
Oh yeah. I tried to do that one time at NAMM and I was like, I'll never do that again. Lugging all the stuff around the camera and, Dave, you remember I tried to do it our first year at Tone Talk.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this sucks.
That's why, I just used a microphone plugged into my cell phone, and that's how I was shooting everything. I still shoot all my videos on a cell phone.
Sean's like, Ben, I still have some pull, and I still wouldn't ask Dave for an amp. I'm like, just so you know, we've never given any YouTuber an amp. So
that's good. No.
Hey, I'm your partner, and I would never.
No, at best, I would have tried hitting you up for a pedal because I got a smaller channel. Do I want to demo? No, Keith. Actually, it's funny he mentioned that. The last NAMM show I was at, I was over at Outlaw Effects, and they said, "What do you want to demo?" And I said, "I want one of your ABY pedals." And they're like, "Really? You want to shoot a demo on an ABY pedal?" It's like, "No, I need an ABY pedal, and this is a way I can get one for free."
There you go.
And I still made a demo on it. It was the easiest demo in the world. Here's one, or the other, or flip the switch. One, now both. Done.
There's no hum. It works.
Donnie Beam says, Dave Friedman, what do you think of, I'm going to butcher this name because I never can say it, Matt Masinikov? I don't know how to say his last name. Preamps. The guy in Russia that makes preamps. I don't know how to say that name. I wish someone would tell me how to say it. In fact, maybe we should have him on the show.
Yes.
In fact, you're invited on the show if you happen to be listening to this small YouTube channel.
Yeah. Mayan Uskov.
Yeah, we got 75 watching.
Actually, I should. My wife is Ukrainian. I should just ask her how to say this.
Yeah, she would. Dina would know.
She would know how to say it.
Yeah.
At least then I won't butcher it. His preamps, he does a good job. I mean, I've worked on a couple. I think I took one of his Soldano clone preamps and I made a couple tweaks on it for someone. And it was made pretty damn well. It worked well. It was quiet. Everything was done well. So
I mean, is it like it's to the schematic of a,
yes, it is. Although he conserves the number of tubes, unlike Mike just put whatever number he wanted in there and did it an easier way, but it is technically accurate. So yeah, it's quite good. It's a good preamp. So I haven't tried a lot of them, but I mean, I tried that one is the one I've had personal experience with, and one other I had too, but they're made well. So he seems like a good guy.
That's actually an interesting idea, Deja Blue. Boutique Amps Distribution Con 2023.
Not a bad idea.
That's actually
not a bad idea. It's just a question of can you get? Yeah, you could do it. Could you get the right amount of people?
I'm sure you could.
Maya Sinikov, Ron House of Bane says.
Okay.
Sean Pierce Johnson says yes because I can drive to it.
Yeah, I mean we did 1 year we did kind of a YouTuber thing at the factory, and that was cool. We might be able to get away with doing. I'm trying to think if the new factory is really big enough though. So, I mean it's definitely big, but it's just finding how to do it right. Might be a little bit of a problem.
Sure.
Thunder Falcon has a good question. And the answer is you don't need it. How long should an amp be on standby before you play and when you shut it down? Don't worry about it.
You can just use the power switch.
Yeah.
You know,
I would
you can
say
leave,
yes.
don't even bother with the
99%
standby if you
of
don't
the
want
time.
to.
This amp doesn't like it. When I used to just switch it off, I got a B52 AT112. When I do that, it would make a very loud popping sound.
Mm.
So then I just threw it in standby. So Fender, no problem. It doesn't care. B52 temperamental. I had a question. Dave, have you ever done any mods on any trainer amps, being Canadian?
Yeah, sure. Bass masters, many. I've worked on many.
Nice.
They you can do stuff with them for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, look at that, because
They're cool amps.
like a lot of Canadian stuff, you don't know if it makes it south of the border much. You know, like a lot of Canadian bands, we can have bands that are huge in Canada and they just don't break south of the border
Sure.
due to CanCon. Sort of like Big Wreck. All of a sudden, 10 years ago, the world discovered Big Wreck, and we're like, yeah, we've been listening to them for 25 years. They're great.
Yeah, right.
I wish they were bigger. I wish someone of his talent should be more prominently known.
Their new guitar player is from my town here.
Oh yeah, they got another guitar player?
Yeah, Chris Cadell is playing guitar with them now. I didn't know that till I was hanging out with Jason from Lambert Drive Studios in the chat there. He was telling me that this week when he was over here checking out my rig and stuff. Ron House of Bane says, I'd like to get my hands on an old Garnet amp. Speaking of Canadian amps. A Garnet Herzog, perhaps?
Never worked on one. Heard one.
Hey, Rob, a Tesi Switch has a question for you, Dave. Did you ever go to the public vendor day at Guitar Center was putting on for a couple of years? It predates your involvement in Boutique.
Nope. Because we had no involvement with Guitar Center then.
I think Rob worked for Guitar Center. I may be
Musician
wrong on that.
friend, technically, but
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Okay. I may be wrong. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I believe. Again, lifestyle choices. I mean, and just say, my memory isn't what it ever was.
Yeah. Trust me. I know Rob's worked at a lot of really good companies.
Yeah, actually, it was really cool. The last NAMM show I keep going back to, Rob and I hung out for like a whole afternoon on, I think it was the Saturday. And we were just going around. We hit up the basement for various things because he was looking, obviously for products for his website and stuff. And it was great. It was one-stop shopping because he's like, yeah, I can distribute your product in the US. And this guy can demo the product. I'm like, that I can. And I got a lot of interesting little things to demo from that show. So it's really neat.
Cool.
He was the amp buyer that bought Friedman in initially.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there we are.
I know who you are.
The world of small worlds.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
Of course he is. Octopus here says, is NAMM going to be bigger this coming year than the last one?
No idea. I wouldn't think so.
I don't know.
And after the many people's pitiful experience at this last one, I don't know if you're going to see more vendors or not. I think now, unfortunately, the vendors have realized, why do we have to go to NAMM?
Right.
What's the point?
Well, especially the really big company. Like Fender already flies all their dealers out to their company anyways and do dealer days.
Mm-hmm.
And Gibson has their whole garage situation there in Nashville, so they're set up to do any launches they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the cost is for, like, especially one of those rooms, but I'm pretty sure you could fly in a lot of sales reps into wherever you are for the same price.
Oh, compared to what we would spend on NAMM, you could probably bring in everyone, the whole dealer list, and put them up, and it would still be cheaper. I would think. Maybe. I was thinking about how many dealers we have versus how many would actually come, and then how many are you going to get? 100,
right?
Maybe. So,
what? Like 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, and that's probably half of what gets spent on NAMM.
Well, yeah, and I'm just racking it through my brain myself. I'm like, for someone like you, Dave, like, for your cost of putting on a booth at NAMM, can you increase your distributor, your dealership level that much?
No, not at all. We already have all the dealers we're going to have.
Yeah.
There's only so many dealers in this country that can carry, our products and stuff.
Right.
So and we know who they are already. They've already reached out for it. And you're not getting scads of new boutique dealers opening up. You're not.
Yeah, it's not like 90% of the retailers are all mom and pop independent stores, right? Where I have to meet 1,000 people for 1,000 stores or what have you.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of stores across the country that are just little mom and pop stores. They barely have anything, and they can only really carry a pedal or two.
Mm-hmm.
And that's cool. They serve a purpose too. They have lessons, and they have beginner guitars and things, but that's just not what we do. So
exactly. Symmetry, thank you very much. He says, Dave, can you describe in layman's terms the basic difference between EL34s and 6L6s in, say, an EVH head? That's one we posted on an Ask Dave board, Ben. That's right.
You'd be surprised. Well, first of all, it'll depend on what 6L6 you're comparing and what EL34, because a bunch of different EL34s sound different and a bunch of 6L6s sound different. But you'd be surprised in the same amp how little of a difference there is. A-bead, recorded, everything. Just there's very little difference. If anything, maybe the EL34 is a little more scoop sounding, actually. Which you wouldn't think, but it tends to be a little softer also. But it's not radically different. In fact, you might be hard pressed to even hear the difference.
Remember those THD amps?
Yeah.
And they had one amp where you can swap tubes. You can put any power.
Yeah, univalve or something.
Yeah. So someone I knew had it, and I tried it, and we were swapping tubes. It was really like barely any difference. Barely any difference.
Yeah, it's less of a difference than you think.
It's like the slightest twist of a knob, on the mid, on the mids or something like it. It's just
it took it from 4 to 4 1/4.
Right, right. It's really minimal, but some people can hear it. I mean, shit. Eric Johnson can hear batteries.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm kind of glad the tinnitus is kicked in, because I just don't hear a lot of that stuff anymore. So ignorance is bliss.
Oh man, tinnitus. I have got that for sure. Do you have that, Dave?
I have it in one ear.
Oh yeah, you said that before, yeah.
Although it's relatively mild. I mean, it's actually gotten better after I had my ears cleaned out or something on that side, and there was a kind of a problem with that side. So
that's good. It got better. Yeah, mine doesn't go away.
I mean, it's there, but and I'll notice it when I like say at a loud restaurant, and then I suddenly go home and it's quiet. Just like, oh shit, there it is.
Yeah. It's amazing what it'll set it off and then just builds up.
Yeah, it's weird. Sometimes you don't think that would set it off, even like you're not. I'm not really in a loud environment, but sometimes it's weird. Yeah,
I'll usually we usually keep the TV on just for some white noise at night. Yeah.
Living next to a highway, I have to run a fan at night just to make some white noise.
Yeah.
So I've only been here a couple of years. Prior to that, I was like more out in the country. I'm like, how do people sleep along a highway? Tried earplugs, and then I'm like, no, just put a fan on.
Mm-hmm. Some music.
Oh, the problem with that is then I'm like, how did he play that?
I've actually found myself, I'm like trying to go to sleep, and I put music on, and then I find myself like tapping to it, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I want to go to sleep. Let me change the channel.
I wonder what the signal path was on that song.
Yeah. What else we got in here?
Yeah. What else do we have? Let's see. Bunch of tube talk there. They're going between EL34s and 84s.
Octopus ears are
Okay, well that's a little different. EL84 is definitely a little more compressed. But you know what? Again, surprisingly, there's a video out there somewhere from NAMM where we were comparing a JJ100 to a JJ Junior with EL84s at moderate volume, because you can't compare, because at some point they run out of headroom. And you couldn't tell the difference. We had an amp switcher going and people were like, which one is that? Oh, that's the 100 watt for sure. No, that's the 20 watt. So I think it's more about the circuit than it is necessarily about the tube.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Yes, keep those questions coming in.
Shane. Then why EL34 exclusively in Marshall amps? EL34 was more of a common tube in England. And in the US, 6L6 was more of a common tube. We didn't really make EL34s. We made 6CA7s. We didn't really make EL34s. Britain did.
And Marshall's also used
Germany.
6550s, right?
Well, later when they had all sorts of tube problems, yes. they switched to 6550s. We'll have less problems. Yeah.
Nice.
But original JTM 45 had KT66s, which is a 6L6 variant, sort of. It was really kind of designed. The original ones were sort of designed around 6L6s.
I've always been intrigued and never had an amp that had KT66s, or like these big glass tubes like KT88s or something like that. Like
they're cool. I mean, KT88s can sound really neat in the B100.
Really,
just a little punchier, a little more brutal, a little more. If you get the volume up a little bit, it has a little more muscle behind it.
And they fit perfect fine. You just have to rebias.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds good.
What would you bias it to?
In my around 45 to 50.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, if you look at a bias calculator about a KT88 or something, that's you'd have to double check the play voltage, but I think that's roughly around right. I know in a 445 volt played voltage, 70% dissipation, because I just did it today, 70% dissipation was 53 or something. So
you're going just slightly lower.
I would just say like 50. Yeah.
Interesting. Modern Vintage with the super chat. Thank you very much. Dave, can you mod/change the frequency, response, voice, gain structure switches on a 100 DLX to be pots for a full sweep? Is anywhere on the panel fine?
Okay. Frequency is switching capacitors, so no. Response, yes, you could put a pot in. That's possible. Voice is some capacitors. Again, that's not really. Could you put a pot that sweeps how much of it? Maybe, but not really. Gain structure, not the way we currently are doing it. It has to be a switch, but there are some other ways to do gain structure that you could do it with a pot.
Interesting. All these guys are just wanting to mod everything. I swear, they want you to bring out a new amp every month. Just might as well.
Yeah. There's stuff coming.
Ooh. So much tube talk. What's your favorite solid state amp that can hang with a drummer?
I do like those old Lab Series amps. Like Ty Tabor used. And also those old Randalls were pretty neat. They were okay. The RG series amps, they were okay.
I had one of those Marshall MOSFETs. I like that. That's fun.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely out there. Yeah, I don't there was that will hang with a drummer, so okay, we threw that out. So there was a cool Marshall solid state combo that I really liked. I can't remember what it is now though. Yeah, I don't know. other than what I mentioned?
I'm back.
Mark's back.
In case we didn't see him come back.
Yeah.
In case your monitor's off.
Right.
I think I see Brad Miller stole some tubes out of a C-130 flight simulator. I bet you did. Will the JC-120 hang with a drummer? Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Especially if you put EVs in them.
Mm-hmm.
That was a thing.
Really? So I'll shoot at my dad. How about a Baldwin Professional? There we go. Fine solid state in. Good enough for Willie Nelson.
What about the Baldwin, what was it, the Exterminator? Have you ever seen that?
Was that the really big one?
Yes. This is the funniest thing. So I worked on, it was for, Neil Young has one.
That's where I've seen it.
And
yes.
I worked on his amps. Or his amp. And they brought it in here. And I'm just like looking at this thing. It's as high as my shoulder, or at least mid chest or something. It's huge, right? And the funniest thing on it has one handle on the top.
Yeah.
How does that work? you need some like Game of Thrones giant to come and carry it for you or something. That was a beautiful sounding amp.
Really?
I couldn't believe how cool that sounded.
Yeah.
It would distort in a certain way, a pleasing way. Like, so for like, say, a Strat that into it with like a semi gritty kind of tone going, like clean, gritty with a little of the reverb they had in it on. And man, it sounded cool. It sounded so cool. It's like, I want one. Like I need one. No, but I want one. That was a great amp.
They were early days solid state, the Baldwin.
It looks
stuff.
it looks like it should belong in a bowling alley.
Yeah. Yeah, that one I think that was originally designed as a keyboard amp to fit under their keyboard and face out. Yeah. And then it's got all these tone presets that are all different colors.
Yeah.
Transformer, I think, has been replaced in that one once. Dad used to go through Transformers and amps in the 70s into the 80s. I blame the wiring of the venues he played.
Could be.
Some of them had the chicken wire around the stage. So, if you got chicken wire, you don't have good wiring. Hey, Squire's Telecaster, he says, old solid state Yamaha amp. Okay. And hello to Michael B. Good to see you, my friend.
There was a series of Yamaha amps. DG series of Yamaha amps that came out that had in the 2000s or something, early 2000s, that, or maybe later 2000s, I'm not sure, that were quite good actually. They consulted with a lot of people and they were pretty cool, and they were MIDI and it was pretty neat actually. Nice.
I think the BE Mini and the Soldano Mini, those mini,
they're cool. The original thing was you hold up with a drummer. So,
well, those amps can hold up with a drummer.
Not any drummer I've ever met.
Really?
Yeah,
I saw.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I saw somebody play with it. They were. I'm
a person that thinks
drummer using brushes
should be as loud as the drums.
Okay.
Now, John DeShane, I've been waiting an hour for this and he's behaved. And I figured at some point he was going to ask, Dave, when is the Friedman AC30 coming? I see you asked that.
I'm starting to work on those amps now. Literally now. So
yes, that's exciting.
So we're going to try to bring them out as fast as we can.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I've been excited about for some time myself.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that going to be a separate head and cab setup or a combo?
I haven't got that far yet. To be honest, I'd really like to keep it a head and cab because realistically, combos just suck because of the speaker's just so close to tubes, and they just rattles, and people complain about rattles with the amps, and it's
it's a lot easier.
You know, if people really want the combo, you know, I guess I'll do it. We don't sell a lot of combos. I think the head would be cool.
Yeah.
Like, how many small box combos do you think you sell a year?
Oh, I don't know. I have to look.
Okay.
We sell quite a bit, but we sell heads way more.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that's a big combo, the small box combo.
That's a big combo?
Isn't it?
Oh, it's 112.
Oh, I thought you had a 212.
No, it's not very big, actually. It's pretty easy to get around with.
My bad.
If I did a Vox, I'd probably do a 212.
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Which one was I thinking that you did that?
And then I have to. Then the whole other thing is then with the Vox comes what speakers you're going to put in it, because it's going to be expensive.
Yeah.
Because if you want to put in blues or creams or something like that, they're extremely expensive speakers. Maybe we'll have an option where you don't have to get those speakers. Get some greenbacks or something. But it would be cool to offer it.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a combo that you offered that was big, 212?
No. Well, a long time ago, we did some B100 combos that were the size of like a Blues Breaker or like a Wagner combo, if you're familiar with. Those are huge and so heavy.
Right. I think that's what I was thinking.
I don't think you want to lift it.
No.
Bad.
That's where you got on the road case on wheels and just pulled the top off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I just got the 5150 Iconic about a month ago, and that thing is freaking. It's reminiscent of the PV weight of a combo.
Man, nothing is heavier than one of those old PV VTM heads.
Yeah.
The head box, or VTM or Butcher, the head shell itself weighs more than the actual amplifier that's in it.
Wow.
I think it's made out of like concrete or something. I don't know. I really don't. I don't understand. I mean, it's designed to, you could toss it out of the back of a truck and it could tumble down a freeway and it'd be just fine.
Amazing.
Crazy stuff.
But painful.
Well, folks, we'll go a few more minutes here. If you
offer eminent speakers as an option. No, we're not doing that. I totally detest eminent speakers.
Why?
Sorry. I don't think they sound good at all. And there's something, every time I hear one, no matter which model it is, I hear it. I hear the same thing. And I just can't. I can't.
Gotcha. All right. I got a question here from Lawrence Cash out of Alaska. He says, I have a Bassman 70 head. I believe a 77 or 78 blackface, but I believe it has the later silverface transformer. It looks like an old original black panel. Can I upgrade?
Bassman 70. So what, does it have 4 power tubes? I don't even know what a Bassman 70 is. So there you go. I've never seen one in person. Can you upgrade to blackface spec? Most likely you can, without knowing the amp exactly, but I'm pretty sure you could. Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm assuming the Bassman 70 head is a 4 power tube thing. It's more like I
think so.
It's more like a twinish kind of thing.
I'm trying to remember. A buddy of mine has one. I'm thinking, I've looked in that thing. Just trying to mentally.
Yeah, that's not one that gets around here often, ever. No. You know, there's some obscure Fender amps that just I never see. So I don't know, but I'm probably you can. Yeah.
Everything could be modified once. It's just whether it'll sound good afterwards.
Or if it sounded good in the first place.
Right. If it sounds great, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you like to do with it? If you're just looking to move it to spec, I can get that. Yeah.
PTM 120 880s weighs like 110 pounds. Someone said. I don't know if it's 110 pounds, but I'm thinking it might be 80.
With a feel like 110.
Yes. Depending on your age.
Yeah.
Depending how old you are.
And it's always heavier after the gig than before.
Yes.
That's
And you know, and everything gets heavier as you get older too. So
yeah.
Or we get weaker, one of the two.
Yes, unfortunately, we're not bass players and have to lug around SVTs. This is true.
Dave, what do you think of WGS speakers?
Some of those are okay. I've tried some of those are good.
Okay.
Not bad. The Veteran 30 or whatever was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that cab that I
got
got.
The right one, Veteran 30.
I'm
not
not
one
sure.
of theirs? WGS. Yeah. The vintage their vintage 30 thing that isn't really like a vintage 30.
So I basically have a combination of their vintage 30 and greenback combination, and they sound great. They sound really good.
Yeah.
I was surprised. Delana from the Third Power likes them.
Lawrence Falladie says it's got 3 70-25s.
3?
Yeah. Where did I see that? There it is.
3
70-25, 1 AT7, and 2 6L6 GCs.
Oh, 70-25s, yeah. 2 6L6s, so then it's probably not really, it's not a 70-watt amp. One
of those times they give it a number for a name.
I have to look that up.
That's it. Andy Carson, thank you very much for the super chat.
It could be putting out like 60 watts. Maybe they just called it 70.
Right. Great hang tonight, fellas. Lots of great discussion, information overload for sure. Keep up the great shows, Ben. Happy to do so, Andy. Happy to do so.
Good stuff.
I'll be back Sunday night with Gear Junkie 35. We're going to do a deep dive on pedals because he's got over 300 pedals. So it'll be all the pedals discussed. That Monday night will be Canucks with Guitars live Q&A session, including talk about my meeting with Lambert Drive Studios last week. Lawrence Cash, no comment, but thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it. Modern Ventures was asking, is the JJ100 clean the Buxom Betty clean or something different closer to a Vox?
The original, okay, there was an ever so slight change made in the clean channel, only on the latest amps that were more totally like a Vox, which is what Jerry always wanted. The old one was kind of halfway to a Vox. The EQ is more like a Vox. But the new ones are it's literally a Vox front end on the newest ones. I just made a slight change because I could.
Interesting.
Because we started making amps with a different board, and we had more tubes in the amp, so I had the ability to do it then. And I was just like, yeah, may as well just do this.
Cool.
What about the Junior?
Junior is just a gain stage. It's a half a tube into the power amp. There's nothing there. There's just zero there. I mean, technically, you could call that a Vox too, because that would be a normal channel of a Vox or a bright channel of a Vox. That isn't a top boost amp.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yes, you could call it that. Yeah.
What do you think of Bugera amps?
I think they made some very low cost, decent clones of stuff that was, available, or the stuff that was out there. On the cheap side for sure, but some of them sounded pretty good actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know someone who worked on those.
Interesting. Let's see if I missed anything here. Ooh, Thunder Falcon asks, what are some unknown amps that you like, past or present? Maybe some overlooked ones. I don't know.
Unknown.
That's a good question.
Man. There was an amp. Unknown. I don't know if I can even come up with one right now. I mean, there was an amp made for a while called an Electroplex. That was kind of a neat. That was kind of a neat amp. Those old Legend amps, they're kind of unknown. That was kind of a weird little hybrid of stuff. I think it was like a JCM 800 front end, but with like a solid state power amp in it.
Okay.
There's some weird old Dean Markley amps too that existed a long time ago in the 80s. That are sort of okay, or can be not that great, but nothing that's off the top of my head. Nothing that's really ringing a bell right now. Unknown amps.
Well, there we go. There's a great question to end things tonight. I like that. John DeShane, who's next on Tone Talk, Mark?
Who's next on Tone Talk would be...
Yeah, who is next on Tone Talk?
I think...
Or are you like me? You announce it when you announce it.
That is going to be Bill Landry.
Oh, cool.
And Bill Landry will be on... if you guys know Landry Amps, so he will be on September 23rd.
Okay.
2 weeks from tonight.
Yep. So that's... I think I told you that, Dave. But if I didn't,
don't know, maybe.
Okay. I think I checked with you. Yeah. So Bill Landry will be coming, and then we got some other people lined up. Like
the 23rd, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
All right. If it's a problem, let me know.
Well, I have to. I might go to a show. But I don't know. It could be either 23rd or 4th, and I don't have confirmation on anything yet.
Okay, because I can move Bill to the 16th.
Well, I might be able to go to the second show too, so I'm not sure.
All right, you let me know.
Got to go see Rammstein.
Ooh,
really? You like that?
I want to see the lights and pyro. Yes, cool. I do like it.
They put on an amazing concert from what I've heard.
Yeah. So
nice. Well,
that is if they get back to us. So cool.
Well, yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground here tonight. This has been a fun show. Appreciate both of you guys coming on tonight. As always, Terry's got the links to Tone Talk. Check it out if you haven't already. Again, if you live under a rock. I don't know if you're into gear. You watch my stuff, and we deep dive gear. These guys deep dive gear too. Oh, except they get the people involved. They're like, "Yeah, I built that. I'll tell you about it." Yep. So I get like.
Well, thanks for inviting us on. And by the way, thanks for being a moderator on our show. Also, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
Taking the time. So
yeah, happy the time. I might not always be active in the chat, but I got someone's got to keep an eye on John DeShane. Is what I'm saying. Someone's got to do it.
That's true. That's true.
He's going to let me have it on the Zoom call tomorrow. I know it. All right. So, yeah, if you guys want to hold the line, we'll end things here. Thanks, everybody that tuned in tonight.
Thank you.
To the moderators for moderating. Those who super chatted really helps out the channel. Appreciate it very much. I'll be back Sunday night with Gear Junkie 35 for the Sunday night hang. And we'll be tuning in on possibly the 23rd for the next episode of Tone Talk. So I've been Ben, you've been you, because that's how it works. Hold those doors open. Let that lady in ahead of you in traffic. Do good things, and good things will happen to you. Why? Because karma is real. Oh, I know it. Believe me. Have a good night, folks. Happy tone chasing. And as always, don't litter. Don't. Just don't.